Our top story right here at 5 o'clock. History unfolding today as former President Donald Trump was arrested, fingerprinted, and arraigned on federal criminal charges. The former president entering a not guilty plea, denying all wrongdoing. Federal prosecutors accused him of mishandling sensitive documents containing national defense secrets. ABC's Rena Roy has details from the court hearing.
The former president of the United States now officially arrested and formally arraigned on a slew of federal criminal charges. Donald Trump's motorcade spotted heading to the federal courthouse from his Miami hotel before he pled not guilty to the 37-count indictment against him. Charges under the Espionage Act and obstruction statutes that potentially carry decades in prison if he's convicted.
We're just at the beginning of what's going to be a long process, but it's going to be up to the former president to decide how this case goes.
Though Trump didn't take a mugshot and wasn't handcuffed, he was processed like any other criminal defendant, fingerprinted, giving his name and social security number to authorities.
He does not want this trial to come anytime soon. He wants to get back on the campaign trail. He wants to paint this as a victim, any way to tell people, this is my target. They're coming at me.
Meanwhile, outside the courthouse, heightened security. At one point, authorities cornering off one block and pushing media back to investigate a suspicious item, a television with an anti-media message written in white paint. Police inspecting it before giving the all clear. USA! This after Trump called on his supporters to protest.
We're out here, we're supporting you. Don't give up. No retreat, no surrender.
Some opponents also showing up.
He should have been locked up a long time ago.
Federal prosecutors allege Trump improperly stored dozens of classified government documents at his Mar-a-Lago resort that he knew were not authorized to keep, claiming he even schemed to obstruct the investigation. Officials say some of those documents contained top-secret nuclear weapon and other national defense information. Now that Trump has officially been arraigned, he'll be heading to Bedminster, New Jersey, where he'll be speaking this evening to supporters. Rena Roy, ABC News, Miami.
And as a reminder, today's arraignment is just one of the many legal battles Donald Trump is facing. In March, he was criminally charged in New York on 34 counts of falsifying records in connection to a hush money payment to Stormy Daniels. He pleaded not guilty in that case. In May, the former president was found to be liable of sexual abuse and defamation. That was in a civil lawsuit filed by columnist E. Jean Carroll. He is under investigation by the Department of Justice related to his role in the January 6th attack on the Capitol and in Georgia. He's facing a similar investigation into his alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Now to some news back here at home. Late this afternoon, a major announcement out of the St. Matthews Police Department. Chief Barry Wilkerson confirming the department has made an arrest in connection to the shooting at Mall St. Matthews that left one person hurt. Today, St. Matthews Police arrested 21-year-old Trayshawn Fowler Milan on charges including assault and wanton endangerment. The shooting happened about 2 weeks ago inside the Lids store at the mall. Chief Wilkerson reiterated today the shooting was an isolated event between people who knew each other. He says Fowler Milan fired 3 shots.
We do know one obviously hit the individual. One, I believe, was still in the store, and another one outside of the actual Lids area where the shot was towards Dillard and actually hit into the marble area to the right of the entrance.
According to an arrest citation, Fowler Milan admitted to the shooting. Chief Wilkerson says they believe they have everyone involved. And we do have new details tonight in a lawsuit filed by the former Louisville Urban League president, Kishkumi Price. In the lawsuit, she accused the organization of financial misconduct, when all the organization's asking a judge to dismiss the lawsuit, claiming there's not enough concrete evidence. Former Louisville Urban League director Kishkumi Price filed that lawsuit after she was fired, claiming she was fired because she uncovered financial issues. The original lawsuit claims the organization used grants to pay for things that they were not allocated for. But today, the Urban League filed a motion to dismiss the lawsuit. The organization argues Kishkumi Price didn't cite any specific policy the league violated when they fired her. The league also claims her firing happened before the alleged misconduct was brought up for an audit meeting. Overall, the league argues there's not enough proof to back up her claims. Now, a judge will decide whether to move forward or dismiss that case. And it has been just over 24 hours since a massive fire broke out in an old warehouse in Smoketown. Crews working the scene overnight and keeping an eye on it today, hoping to prevent any hot spots from popping back up. Thankfully, no one has been hurt in this fire or the aftermath. but the building owned by Wayside Christian Mission is destroyed. Grace McKenna went back there today as investigators pieced together how that fire first started.
This afternoon, we're finally getting a better look at the breadth of the damage that fire caused at a building we now know Louisville Fire had already identified as a potential hazard. Tuesday morning, Louisville Fire Major Bobby Cooper said fire prevention officials were alerted in December of 2022 that the warehouse could be a hazard. It was owned by Wayside Christian Mission and used to store surplus items like furniture. Cooper said work was underway to improve safety concerns like deteriorating structural supports.
When we were dispatched yesterday, we were aware of the hazards of this building. Again, our companies have that information in front of them on those tablets so that they can make informed decisions. And that's what I hope that people understand.
Cooper said knowing the building might not be structurally safe likely saved lives. Investigators don't yet know what caused the fire, but Wayside Christian Mission told WHAS11 they'd had problems with break-ins recently. Cooper said because of the damage, it wasn't safe Tuesday morning for officials to search for a cause inside the structure, rather relying on camera footage like Ring doorbells from outside. Major Cooper said the arson investigation continues this afternoon and they likely won't have an answer about what happened for some time. In Louisville, Grace McKenna, WHAS 11 on your side.
Louisville Fire says when fire prevention officials assess the building, the information they gather there is shared with firefighters and MetroSafe through a computer system. That way, responding crews always have it on hand when they're called to another fire. Thousands of Kentuckiana drivers felt some relief on the roads today as the repairs to I64 westbound were completed early, reopening to traffic last night. But don't get too excited. Now that the westbound lanes are done, that means they will start work on the east side. Melwood, Grinstead, and Story Avenue ramps will all be closed starting Friday night at 8 o'clock. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet is estimating this project will take about 2 weeks to complete, but as we saw, they might finish early. Also happening on Friday, all eastbound lanes of I64 on the Sherman-Minton Bridge will be shut down. The lanes will close around 10 Friday night and then reopen at 5 a.m. on Monday. The closure will allow crews to do some diamond grinding on the bridge and remove temporary support brackets. During the closure, you're advised to take I-265 to I-65. Pennsylvania State Police confirmed they have found human remains at the scene of the tanker truck that burst into flames, causing I-95 to collapse through Philadelphia. Crews have hauled away what's left of the tanker truck that went up into flames on Sunday morning. Authorities say the driver of that tanker was carrying up to 8,500 gallons of gasoline when he lost control, trying to navigate a curve and then flipped the truck on its side, igniting the fuel. Officials say intense heat from the fire led to a collapse of a crucial overpass on a very busy stretch of I-95. Now, family members say that driver who was killed was 53-year-old Nathaniel Moody, leaving behind 3 children. Authorities say both sides of the overpass will need to be replaced. The governor has issued a disaster declaration.
To expedite this process and allowing the Commonwealth to immediately draw down federal funds and move quickly to repair and reconstruct this roadway.
Demolition of the overpass is expected to be done in 5 days, but rebuilding it could take months. The American Trucking Association says the disruptions are likely to have significant impacts on the supply chain, saying up to 9% of the vehicles passing through that section of the highway are commercial trucks, which now face lengthy detours on much smaller roads. As we take a look outside on this gorgeous June afternoon, I hope you get the chance to get out and enjoy it because, Ben, this weather is just fantastic this week.
Yeah, and there's a lot more to enjoy as well as we head through this work week. Beautiful but breezy out there, Shay. Some of the wind gusts have been around 35 miles per hour. If you look very, very closely, you can see some of the leaves kind of moving here over the U of L campus as we look live here at our Belmont Village Senior Living Camp, part of our U of L Health Camera Network. 78 and 80 at the airports. Notice the humidity really low at 32%, so it is comfortably warm and will be through this evening. Temperatures outside the city around 75 to 80 degrees, so mostly in the 70s. Notice this spiral up to our northeast, this counterclockwise spin right over Michigan. There's a storm system to our north, and that's why it's pretty breezy here. We are on the dry side of it, though, and maybe a little spoke of energy coming down our way. If you're up around Bedford, Seymour, Brownstown, North Vernon, might get clipped by a couple sprinkles. but the majority of our area will stay dry for this evening. Futurecast showing those clouds to the north as well. Otherwise, partly cloudy for tonight. Low temperatures in the 60s, and tomorrow afternoon, a tad bit warmer in the lower 80s with a mix of clouds and sunshine, and most areas staying dry. Tomorrow evening, slight chance of a couple showers again, mainly to the north. Forecast, partly cloudy tonight, low temperature 64, mid 70s by lunchtime tomorrow, and partly sunny, and our high up to 83 degrees. We'll heat it up a little bit more later this week and look through our Father's Day weekend coming up.
All right, Ben, thank you very much. Tonight, we're seeing what police saw when they found a southern Indiana lawmaker walking on the side of the road not far from where a drunk driver had been reported.
Hi. Step over here. I recognize you. What's your name?
Jim Lucas.
Jim Lucas. Where are you coming from?
Just walking.
Jim Lucas represents Indiana District 69, which includes Seymour, Salem, and Austin. Yesterday, he pleaded guilty to operating a vehicle while intoxicated and leaving the scene of an accident. Police say last month he crashed his car into a guardrail on I65, drove it about 3 miles, and then started walking. A passerby called 911 reporting the crash and the heavily damaged car.
All right. I mean, you've been drinking, so that's why I'm asking you, because we got somebody that's apparently driving around with no tires on a van, and then we got you stumbling around out here.
I have no van.
Okay.
Not long after that, police discovered the lawmaker's crashed SUV about 3 miles away with only one working tire. Representative Lucas was sentenced to a total of 240 days in jail, but that sentence was suspended, meaning as long as he completes probation, he won't spend any time in jail. Today, a serial identity thief was in court after evading Louisville Metro Police for months. LMPD says Jessica Whitehouse has multiple felony warrants, sharing her photo on Facebook there in an attempt to find her. Officers say she used a stolen credit card at the outlet malls in February, and according to her criminal background, it wasn't the first shopping spree. She has charges dating back to 2003. In some cases, she was stealing identities, signing up for credit cards, and then mailing those cards to vacant houses. And we are learning new details about Monday night's mass shooting in Denver. Police now believe it happened during a suspected drug deal and was completely unrelated to the Denver Nuggets NBA championship celebration. The shooting occurred about 1 mile from the arena where the NBA Finals game had just wrapped up. According to the Denver Police Department, a suspect was among those wounded and taken into custody right after the shooting. A total of 10 people were shot. Police believe about half of them were innocent bystanders.